Problem was, 2 of the guineas got out in the dark. Well, welcome back to Castle Rock Farm and Homestead. Today we're going to be trying to kind of kill 2 birds, figurative birds, with 1 stone. We're going to take out this section of fence and put a gate in to our chicken run. We're out in the pasture where we've been running the goats and the sheep, the flurd, and the chickens have been in this run on their own for a couple years now. So you can see it's kind of a barren wasteland in there. It's got deep bedding. I don't know if you can see here. It's piled up here where my foot is. All the way down to here is the regular ground level. So there's a good foot of accumulation. So we've been putting this old straw bedding, some wood chips, all that stuff in there. It's broken down into some black gold compost now. So I'm going to eventually want to get the tractor in here and scoop that out. But I have no way to get that in there right now, and I'm not doing all this by hand. Also, I want to be able to let the chickens out in here. Eventually, I'm going to build a mobile coop so they can follow along behind the flurd and help with pasture sanitization. Yeah, I can't even say it. Sanitization. And picking through, eating up the parasites, eating up the worms, the flies, all that kind of stuff, and just giving them some green, because obviously they don't have any in here, so it's going to be a lot healthier for them too. And this will just kind of be their winter enclosure. I got tons of wood chips still, so we'll throw them down once we can dig out all this great compost, throw more wood chips in, and just keep building compost year after year. But you can see I don't have an electric fence here anymore. There is a hot strand running across the top of everything, but what I did yesterday was I cut that and I ran it underground here. Just dug a trench, ran an insulated wire underneath, and back up the post over here. So now it's hot on this side too. So now I don't have to worry about unhooking my gates. I got to do that to all my gates eventually, but I won't have to unhook it and hook it back up, hook it and hook it back up. Be able to just go in and out and not have to worry about it. So I got a gate. I'll show that to you when we get that installed. I put some chicken wire on it just to keep the chickens in when I want them in. But first, we got to cut out this fence, tie it off to the post, and get this opened up. I got the upholstery netting up around here. I don't have it energized yet. I'll do that afterwards with another energizer we'll show you. And then chickens will be able to come out in here, and we'll see how that goes. Also, we're going to try to integrate the guineas and our one lonely chicken into the flock tonight. So that will be later on in the video. We'll see how that goes. Do it when they're sleeping. They don't know that what's going on. They wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, there's new people here. But they don't really, it just goes smoother. Instead of introducing them now, then they all fight and try to do pecking order and all that stuff. So see how that goes. But let's start off. Let's cut some wire and start tying this off. All right, to get started, we're going to cut off all these stay wires, and then we'll cut the line wires around about there so we can wrap them around the post. It's just one section each side, so it's not like it's got to be super tight or anything. But eventually, like if I use this whole pasture for livestock, or when the cattle get back up here, I don't want to be able to push in between where the gate isn't. So we're going to keep the cattle fencing up just as extra reinforcement and keep predators out as well. Well, I got lucky on this side and realized I tied off my barbed wire. There's a bunch of trucks driving by honking today. I don't know why. Tied off my barbed wire and my cattle fencing to this post already. So really, I just got to cut out this section and then tie off the other one. Saving myself 15 minutes here. Just got to make sure I'm cutting the right one. For this next section, I'm going to have to cut this support wire and get on the inside of here and cut the chicken wire. Then we can wrap all these wires around and tie them off. Like I said, that side's already done. At this point, it's going to be open for them to go out there. Like I said, I got the poultry netting up. I don't have it energized yet. Don't really anticipate them testing the wire. It's going to be more to keep things out than keep them in, the electric part. The actual netting, the physical and visual barrier is what's going to keep these guys in. Yes, they're chickens, they can fly, but they could fly over this if they wanted to, and they never do. So why are you yelling at me? You can see they finally figured out the fence was down. Now I got to get them off of it. Problem I'm running into is this is buried underneath all this buildup, so putting some gloves on, and I'm just going to grab it and yank it. Should pull it out. And then there is a little bit more of the field wire, the cattle panel wire underneath that buildup too, so I'm going to have to try to cut that out and yank it out as well. Just got to get these guys off of here before I start pulling stuff. Hey, go. Nope. Forgot I buried part of this when I put this in to keep stuff from digging under. So I guess whenever I get in here with the tractor bucket, it's going to unbury it, but whatever. And I got to figure out what I did with this thing. I think I just, yeah, it's a piece I just kind of stuck in to help prevent digging too. Obviously, that's going to go away with this gate here. I haven't had any issues with predators up here by the house. Sully out here now, I think that's going to help. Plus, I'm going to have, well, I guess not all the time, but a lot of time I'm going to have the poultry netting around here too. So if it becomes an issue, I'll figure it out then, but I really don't see it becoming an issue. So, and because of the convenience versus the risk reward, I think the reward is going to be better than the risk here. Don't know how well you guys can see it, but you got all this nice compost buildup in there. That's this whole bottom section is just this compost. You can see there's still some sticks and straw and stuff, but it's going to be great for the garden. Used a bit of it for planting flowers already this year. Just dug that out with a shovel, and they did amazing. Got some ants in there, so I'm going to get this off before I start getting bit. So all I did here was just feed the wires through the chicken wire over to here. Got to remember this is still hot, so I don't touch it. And then I'm just going to tie them off around here. Got my pliers to help me pull them a little bit tighter. Yeah, I'm being a bit of a chicken with this electric. You know what? I'm going to go turn it off real quick. All right, got it shut off now. I can actually pull this tight and not worry about frying myself here. No, it's not that hot that it would fry you, but it does not feel good. I think the unit itself is like a 6-joule unit, so that's a lot of heat going through. The one I use for the poultry netting is 1 joule, and it doesn't feel good. I've run into this a couple times, and it wakes you up. Okay, we got that all tied off now, so I'm going to throw away this old wire. bring the gate in and start installing that. I've done gates on here before, so not really going to bore you with all that. So we'll get that on. I'll show you the gate, how I modified it with some chicken wire, which isn't anything fancy. And then show you how that's going to work. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but all the gate is just a regular pipe gate. All I did is took some chicken wire and just zip tied it to the inside. Did it on the inside because that way when the compost stuff builds up, it has a stop. Also, chickens, yeah, chickens aren't big. They're going to push on, not going to really push on it, but that way it just pushes it against the pipes and isn't popping off all the time. And it's on the back side, it should be good enough that none of the animals are going to be able to lean up against it and pop it off on the other side. So, got to keep this fairly close to the ground because I don't want everything spilling out underneath. I know a little bit's going to, and I got to get it high enough so it rotates. But the top's adjustable, the bottom's welded on, so we'll get that bottom one where I want it. And I'll just kind of guesstimate on this top one, and then we'll just drill a hole, and I can adjust that clamp up and down. All right, now as you can tell, it's dark. And I don't know how much you guys are going to be able to see, but we're going to try to get these guys out of here and get them in to the main coop with everybody now that everybody's gone to bed. Seen these stupid guineas get loose a couple times, so it's going to be interesting doing this. I'm going to have to like open and close, and see if I can do this one-handed. Got one of them. Now I got to try to close this one-handed. Come back and get more. All right, back at the coop here. Got some motion lights over here by the coop just to keep predators and stuff away. So, see everybody in there sleeping. We're going to add these guys and see what happens. Hopefully everybody's going to be out of it enough that it ain't going to matter. So, we got two of the guineas in there. Freaking, sorry about that. They're freaking out a bit. We got our lonely chicken here. He's going in. Problem was, two of the guineas got out in the dark. I want to go see if I can catch them quickly. If not, it's going to be something I'm going to have to try to do tomorrow. Well, you can see everybody in there. Got our lonely chicken up front here. I don't know where the guineas went. They're in there somewhere. And speaking of not knowing where guineas went, I don't know where the other two went. They headed straight for the garden when they got out. And they love to hunker down. So when the dark like this, there ain't no chance of finding them. I left the top of the chicken tractor open. Maybe they'll hop in there for their food and water. If not, I'll find them running around the yard somewhere. Otherwise, I guess we'll have some guineas eating ticks until they get eaten by something. But I got 3 out of 5. If you want to see what happens to the other 2, maybe subscribe, like, stay with us and see what happens. See if these guys integrate well and see what we do with getting them out in the pasture as well. Thanks for joining us again, and we'll see you next time.